Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are going to explore what is called cumulative frequency diagram curve or graph and how it can help us to find information. Okay, so I'm going to use this as an example from histogram. This histogram shows 50 workers, the daily wages of these 50 workers. And from histogram, I can then come up with my frequency table. So between if 100 and 150, this, you will see that I will have 4 workers. Between 100 to 110, I should use blue color, sorry, easier, which is this bar here. Then I will have 10. So as you can see, we can continue to eventually get all the values here, the corresponding values. I can also write it out neatly. This will be 4, 10. From the histogram, there are 22 of them. And from here, the number of workers that have wages between 115 to 120 would be 9, which is here. Okay, and the last one would then be 5. Okay, and so the kind of questions they could ask us would then be find the number of workers with daily wage less than or equals to 105. So from this histogram there, right, we could get that value easily. It is just 4. But if they want us to find all the workers where their daily wages is less than or equals to 110, then I would have to consider both 4 and 10. Okay? Because there are 4 workers who has daily wage of between 100 and 105, and this is less than $110. So using this, then if they were to ask us to find the number of workers with the wages less than or equals to 115, then you can see that I would then have to add 4, 10, and 22 to give me 36. Okay. The next question though, can you find the exact number of workers with daily wage less than or equals to 118? Well, not exactly, because they only give me that there are 9 workers with wages between or more than $115 but less than or equals to $120. They never give me the specific number of workers for each data point though. So it's not possible. The daily wage are grouped together. Yeah? So if it is grouped together, then we cannot really tell the exact number then from this table or from this histogram. Therefore, we need to come up with another representation of this set of data that could best allow us to estimate this kind of question. Which brings me to the next part of this video. the cumulative frequency. Okay, so answers to question B previously, where I keep on adding, actually gives me this thing called a cumulative frequency, which is the number of observation that is less than or equal. That means the sign looks like this. Okay, so from a frequency table, we can then set up the cumulative frequency table. Okay, so I'm going to highlight certain things. So of course, since the frequency, there are 4 of them that has more than 100 and less than or equals to $105. So the number of workers with wages less than or equals to 100 will be equals to 0. Then I'm slowly going to color code it now, okay? So if I'm going to talk about less than or equals to 105, this is the upper limit. That's only 4. But if I'm going to talk about 110 less than or equals to 110, all the workers, then I will have to look at both 10 and 4. Okay, add them up, that will give me 14. 4 plus 10. So if I were to look at less than or equals to 115, then I will have to have 22 plus 10, 22 plus 10 plus 4. Yeah, so this will be all the workers that is less than, they have daily wage less than $115. So moving on, you will start to see the pattern. So this is the upper limit. I need to consider 9, 22, 10 and 4 to give me 45 of them. And of course the last one, $125. Then I will have to consider 5, 9, 22, 10 and 4 to give me 50. And this happens to be the total number of workers in this particular example. Okay, so this is what we call the cumulative frequency table. And from this table, I could then plot this graph, which we call the cumulative frequency graph. Here, okay, I'm going to pull this here in so that now we can see this already. So with this table, right, then you can see when we plot, the first point will be 0. So I'm going to just use black color also. 0. The second point will be 4. Okay. For wages less than or equals to $110, there is 14. For wages less than or equals to 115, 36. And for wages less than or equals to $120, 45. And finally 50. And this happens to be the total number. So if I were to make it even more clear to everyone, then right, you can then see for the daily wage of 105, for each point, then you can see this will be my 4, this will be my 14, That's how we plot these points together. And when we join it, we just need to make sure that it looks like a smooth curve. This will be 45. And of course, the end point is usually the total number, which in this case, indeed, it is 50. And that's how we plot the cumulative frequency graph. So now we are at this cumulative frequency graph, right? Then we can find a good estimate of any data point for any wage. Okay, what do I mean by that? So let's move on. I'm going to show you the kind of questions we can estimate. First, the endpoint here is the total frequency. So that's something that we have established. That means this one will be my 50, will be the total frequency. So if we were to estimate the number of workers with daily wage of less than 118, we could tap on this graph now. Okay, because from this graph, right, let me use red color. Then all I have to do is to zoom in. At this point here is 108. And then we can tap on this particular graph now to give us a good estimate. So now we know that there is about 42 workers that have wage less than $118. Previously we cannot. If we are given histogram or a frequency table, but with cumulative frequency table, or more specifically cumulative frequency curve, we could do that now. Okay, give you another example. So at point A, this point A here, this simply means that there are 36 workers with wages that is less than or equals to $115. Okay, so that is something we can estimate. So there are 36 workers whose daily wage is less than or equal to $115. We could also estimate for wages that is more than a certain value. How can then we do that? Well, we first go and find the number of workers that is less than or equal to that particular value. In this case, $110. So if I zoom in here, then I can see that, hey, here is my 110. And let's see what this graph gives me. This graph gives me 18. So this 18 basically means that there is 18 workers that is having a daily wage of less than or equals to $111. Then if I want to find more than, $111, how do we go about doing that? we know altogether there are 50 workers, and out of which 18 have less than or equals to 111. This means that if I minus, I will be able to get 32. So there are 32 workers whose wage is more than 111. Okay? So the key idea is that the data that we show here always correspond to less than or equal. So if you want to find more than, we always have to tap on our total number, minusing away the number that correspond to the less than or equal. With that, we have come to the end of this video. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.